as some of you know, these stories retrieve biblical narratives that engage God's passion for the earth. Narratives and teachings that have long been overlooked or dismissed. The attempt is to get them up on their feet and dancing. The book contains 4 stories: The King of Bigger and More, God is Flesh and Wild, Little Sparrows See God Fall, and Jailbird John and the Choirs of the Creatures. The second excerpt is from the second story, and it's called The God of Flesh and Wild, and it picks up the story of Jesus in the wilderness, and it plays off the Isaiah passage of the lion laying down with the lamb and the bear and the cow living together in peace, rather than focusing on the tempter. 3 months before John the Baptist was beheaded, 2 years before Jesus was arrested, nailed to a tree, they met on the banks of the River Jordan. John was baptizing people at the riverbank doorstep where Moses first left a baby nation. Like a nearsighted washerwoman, John was washing people instead of their clothes, trying to get their hearts clean as fiddle strings, tuned to the funeral songs for the earth of violent men. Some say it was the stingers on his tongue. Some say it was the honey on his teeth that got the people into the river. Jesus headed there, jumped into the bathtub with the others. Bursting up out of the water, he had a frog on his head. And dove talking God's wild love into his ear. The wild love became a whirl of wind, yanking him out of the water and tossing him upriver into the wilderness. Crashing to the earth, Jesus made the sound that beloveds of God make when they hit the ground. Oomph. He lay there wondering why God had blown him into this wild place. The music of water tumbling over stones soon washed away all thoughts. Breathing deeply, once, twice, then came sleep, and then came bear. Bear meandered along the creek shore, coming to a sleeping body, stopped, sniffed along the spine to the neck. Conclusion: good enough to eat. Bear slowly moved his snout to Jesus' unguarded belly before butting the awakening sleeper from his side onto his back. Big-eyed, Jesus lay still, very still, a paw pressed heavily upon his chest.
You can tell a lot about a man by his stink, said Bear. And you stink good.
Balaam's beard, a talking bear. What are the chances of that?
1 in 10.
What's that on your breath? Asked a nervous Jesus.
Lamb's carcass.
Pungent.
You're being a little quick to judge.
You've had dinner, right?
Dinner? Yes. Dessert? No. Do you mind if I lick your face?
I'd rather that you didn't.
Okay. Would you mind if I open my mouth really, really wide to see if your head is small enough to fit inside? Joking, just joking.
Well, that's good news.
I enjoy a joke as much as the next bear.
Tell you what. If you take your cold paw off my chest, I'll let you warm it on my belly.
Would that include a foot rub? Asked the furry comedian.
Tell me another story, and I'll throw in a foot rub.
Give me a foot rub, and I won't eat you. Joking. Let's see, which story? I like the one about Jonah and the cows.
I've always liked that one, said Jesus. You're a pretty scripture-savvy bear.
Not so much pretty as good looking. And perhaps a little savvy about the birds of the air and the lilies of the field.
Good line. I'll take that. Jesus wondered aloud, maybe it would have been better if scripture had been written by bears or ducks or...
No, writing's not our thing. It's the oral tradition for us. Stories, grunts, farting.
Songs?
Songs are for the birds. But I'm a devil for round dancing and hugging.
Hugging.
The bear hug of God's embrace. The poet Hosea bites into that bone.
Which bone?
Yeah, Hosea's wishbone. Wishing for God's embrace of heaven, earth, all the creatures in a great peace treaty. This is a fine story. This story of the peace treaty. Everyone is in on it. God, earth, bears, cranes, little trees with grapes, bigger trees with figs that hang close to the ground and are very sweet. Everyone is happy with that peace treaty. Singing back and forth, dancing wedding dances in a great circle with room for bears with a sore paw. Speaking of paws, could you give the left paw a little bit of rub there? Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Len is going to play a song that is part of the story later on, and I asked him, we stole the tune from Len for this song, and so it's only right and just that he should sing it for us. And when you buy the book, you'll find if you put it to your ear, it won't help at all, but nevertheless, it'll keep that ear warm, and you can try to remember Len singing. The tune is there, and the music and lyrics will be there too.
Come, forest river wind, dance the earth home again. Come, forest river